Hey everyone, Jay here with the DoItYourselfer.com. In this video I'm going to show you how I set up and use my sawhorses. My definition of sawhorses is something that supports material or tools in an elevated position for ease of operation or cutting. I have used many things as sawhorses over the years, things like buckets, trash cans, toolboxes, and even tools. But it's a lot nicer to have dedicated sawhorses set up to suit your particular needs. So it's good to know what's important to you. I have 4 things I look for in a good sawhorse. First thing is, it needs to be sturdy. You don't want sawhorses breaking when your material is stacked on it, or worse yet, collapse when you're cutting with a saw. Second thing I want is lightweight. I want something easy enough to move around. The third thing I look for is a sawhorse that is compact. I like foldable sawhorses that don't take up much space when they are stored or transporting. The fourth and final thing I want in a sawhorse is a good workstation. I've used just about every kind of sawhorse there is, starting with the sawhorses made from 2x lumber. They can be made strong, but they are not very compact. Even when you make them stack on themselves, they still take up quite a bit of space, and they are not terribly easy to transport. I've also used the foldable plastic sawhorses. They are very lightweight and easy to transport, but I've had them break under my own work before. There are several metal foldable sawhorses out there, some very sturdy and foldable, but very heavy. So after 30 years of using sawhorses, the one I have used for the past 15 years is the metal foldable sawhorses made by EBCO. They have several different levels to choose from. I have used their lighter horses before, and they are okay, but they seem to bend easier over time. So I always use their middle grade. So this is the EBCO sawhorse I like to use. As you can see, it folds up pretty good, and when it sets up, it's really sturdy. One thing to watch out for with the foldable sawhorses is the legs unlocking when you're using them. If they are set up on uneven ground, they can twist, putting pressure on the locking. If the legs become unlocked, the sawhorses can tip over. It's pretty much the case with any foldable sawhorse. And when the horses are folded up and you're moving them, you want to make sure you grab them from the correct end, or the legs can flop out. Now, I've never found what I really wanted as a workstation, so I picked the best sawhorse and made the additions I wanted. So here is my sawhorses in their storage and transportation mode. Now, when they are locked together, I can carry both sawhorses with one hand, and the legs will not flop out. Also, it is easier to stack other things on them in storage or when you're transporting them. So I loosen the wing nuts, set up the sawhorses, and position my wood shelf on the legs, then inserting the bolts and tightening them. Now when I set up the horse, it's even sturdier, and the legs cannot move, keeping the legs from unlocking. It's also very nice to have a shelf to lay my tools on instead of laying them on the ground. And I don't have to bend over as far. One other thing I use my sawhorses for is to position panels in an upright position for easier marking and cutting, especially when I'm marking and cutting drywall. So if you have ever cut drywall standing up or on the floor, you know how hard it can be. If you use these brackets, you would never do it any other way. I simply screw them to the top of the sawhorses, and look how much easier it is. So that's a quick look at how I set up my sawhorses. I hope it gave you some ideas on how to set up your sawhorses. If you would like to use the sawhorses I use, click the link below. But remember, they don't come with any of the alterations I made. If you would like access to a diagram and material list of the additions to my sawhorses, click the free bonus link below. Thanks for watching, Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to know as soon as I post my next video. Oh, by the way, my next video I will be showing you how I build a miter saw table with two 2x4s and one 2x6 that breaks down to 6 feet for around $15. Don't miss it.